2024 marks NATO's 75th anniversary, a significant milestone at a critical moment for this historic alliance created in the aftermath of World War II. NATO has evolved and grown over that span of time and become the object of pride for some and concern for others, including within the member nations themselves. As NATO commemorates its achievements, it stands at a crucial turning point with its future hanging in the balance. With the collapse of the Soviet Union, many observers wondered whether NATO could still justify a mission focused on collective defense. Contrary to their doubts, over the past 30 years, NATO has expanded significantly and has even ventured on several dramatic occasions beyond the purely defensive logic that defined its initial mission. This growth has accelerated recently, largely driven by the conflict in Ukraine. The alliance has used this historic moment to recruit new members and project a sense of pride in its apparent capacity to present a front of collective strength. However, the reality on the ground is far more complex. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine, not just supported but also encouraged by NATO, reveals deep uncertainties and challenges that could reshape the alliance's future. Is it Ukraine's war, or is it NATO's? Alongside the hope and pride expressed by its leaders, the ambiguity concerning even the terms of this conflict and the legitimacy of its engagement have fostered doubts about the institution's future. Let's look at three possible scenarios. In the first scenario, NATO continues on a positive trajectory. The alliance remains united against external threats, continues its expansion and modernizes its capabilities under continued US leadership. New members like Finland and Sweden bring fresh energy and resources, reinforcing NATO's role as a pillar of global security. In the second scenario, NATO weakens but evolves. Reduced US involvement, potentially due to political changes, in particular a looming return of Donald Trump to the White House, prompts European nations to take on more leadership roles. This shift could lead to a new era of European autonomy in defense matters, with NATO pivoting its focus to areas like cyber defense and counterterrorism. But Europe has been rattled by the war in Ukraine. Its economy has been weakened by the sanctions imposed on Russia. Is it capable of taking up that challenge? The third scenario envisions a more dramatic outcome. A negotiated settlement between Ukraine and Russia might alter the regional security dynamics so significantly that NATO's role as a guarantor of peace becomes questioned. Internal divisions, differing priorities among member states, and rising nationalism could fatally lead to the alliance's disintegration. Beyond these scenarios, NATO faces a broader challenge: its perception in a rapidly evolving multipolar world. In many parts of the global south and east, NATO is increasingly seen not as a peace alliance, but as an instrument of US hegemony. This view harks back to a history of European colonization and American dominance over the past 75 years, tightly intertwined with NATO's role. Changing these perceptions requires more than military strength. It demands a concerted effort in diplomatic engagement, cultural exchanges, and genuine partnerships with non-aligned nations. NATO must showcase its commitment to global peace and cooperation beyond military interventions, and it must convince those doubting nations that it has sincerely embraced those goals. NATO stands at a crossroads. Its future will be determined by its ability to adapt to new geopolitical realities, maintain internal cohesion, and rebuild trust on the global stage. Whether it continues to consolidate, evolves under new leadership, or faces dissolution, one thing is clear. NATO's next chapter will shape not only its own legacy, but also the broader dynamics of international relations. As the world watches, NATO's members must reassess their own engagement in a collective effort designed to ensure their security. But in doing so, they must remain aware that, at the same time, mistaken policies and unreflecting initiatives could imperil not only their own future, but that of the entire world.
Join the conversation at Fair Observer and subscribe to our YouTube channel.